Work through this. Last couple of years we've been talking about something that's very important to us, and it's discipleship. We think discipleship is fundamental to the work of Cornerstone. Now, we have a vision team that meets every couple of months over there in the fellowship hall, and there's a leadership team over that vision team. So the leadership team and the vision team have been getting together to really discuss, if we're going to make disciples, where do we start? Where do we start? Where's the best place to start? And we thought about where could Cornerstone do its best work, where we were reminded that Jesus did his best work around a table, in a living room, on a front porch, in a back deck. I mean, sometimes you would be in synagogues, and sometimes you would be in temples, and you'd be on the hillside. But if you think about the moments where Jesus did his best stuff, where does he tell us about communion? It's in the upper room around a table. Where does he say to a woman who is worshiping him in her tears, and people were criticizing and judging her? What does he say about that woman? He says, when the gospel is preached, they will tell her story. And remember the book of John. The book of John, when he performed his first miracle, where was it? What was going on? It was at a wedding in Cana, and it was in someone's house. And so we realized we're going to do our best work, where we want to start this whole thing off that we've been talking about for the last couple of years, is in people's homes and front porches and patios. And so we've started something we're calling the front porch. The front porch, essentially what's going to happen is several of us are going to open up your homes, and we're going to invite people in. Because when you invite people into your living room, it's just kind of disarming, isn't it? It's kind of natural. That's where you're the most authentic. And that's where the good stuff really begins to happen. So who should be at one of these front porches, one of these porch parties throughout Northwest Indiana? First, we hope literally everyone here goes to one of our front porches. Everyone should be here. But there are two groups specifically that's really important we would love to see come. One group is if you've been at Cornerstone for a month, 2 months, maybe a year, maybe 5 years, and you're still trying to connect, you still feel like you're kind of like on the fringe, and for you don't necessarily connect just through a handshake or 10 minutes in the front lobby. It's really relationships. That's what's important to you. Come to one of these front porches. Come to one of these, because we're going to, some of the front porches are going to be like a game night. Some of the front porches are going to be a dessert night. Whatever's going to happen, we would love to see you there. This is a great place if you're just someone that's trying to get to know Cornerstone. The other group that we would love to see there is, we all have friends that we thought, I would love to see at Cornerstone. I would love to know Jesus. But the thought of bringing them to a worship service is like 0 to 100, right? It's just like, it's a whiplash for them. And so an environment like this is perfect for them. To come in and be around other Christian believers, to get to know us in a more natural, casual environment. If you open up your bulletins, you will see this. This is our initial announcement about the Front Porch Ministry. And I've asked Mike to come up, share some dates with us, and a little bit more about it.
Good morning. I'm excited about the idea of the front porch because, just to put a little context around this, if we ask the question, what is the church and what is the mission of the church, the role of the church? The church is not the building, the church is us. We are the church. We just happen to come here on Sundays, and we worship together, we fellowship together, we build community together. But we are the church, and the church is to go into the world. And the main function of the church is probably twofold. I can put it in two big categories. One is to disciple those who have made a decision to follow Jesus Christ with their lives. To help each of us grow in our relationship with him through worship, through teaching, through community, through fellowship, building time together. The other big umbrella is evangelism. It's reaching out into the world. We are to be light and salt to the people around us. How will people come to know about God's great love for them if they don't have somebody that loves them and cares enough about them to say something? And yet, as Kevin said, there's a cultural divide between a church culture and a non-church culture, and most of the people who don't come to church don't feel comfortable. It's a different culture. It's a whole new experience. So we want to help them make a transition, and our front porch has accomplished both of these things. It helps us, to grow in our relationships with Christ through building of community, through getting to know each other. Jesus said the world will know that we're his disciples by our love for each other. How do we love each other if we don't know each other? So here's a chance to get together in a fun time, a fun atmosphere. It's going to involve food. It always involves food. It's going to, hopefully there will be some fun involved. But it also accomplishes the second of inviting our neighbors, our friends around us. And I really want to encourage you to begin now to think about who you want to invite and to start praying for them. When I worked with the Billy Graham Association, we had a thing called Operation Andrew. And it was the whole thing where Andrew brought Peter to a place where he could meet Jesus. So the idea is bringing a friend to a place where they can meet Jesus. It starts off with praying for them, that God would open their hearts, that God would begin to build a sense of need in their lives, and that God would make them open, that when we invite them, that they'll say yes. And then tell somebody who you're praying for, so they can hold you accountable that you're going to invite them. It's one thing to say, I'm going to invite this person, but if I don't tell anybody I'm going to do it, and I don't do it, nobody knows. But if I tell somebody I'm going to invite somebody, and they can say, hey, so you invited them yet? And they kind of hold me accountable. I will tell you right now, there are 3 families that I'm praying for that I'm going to invite to my front porch. And I don't know if they're going to come or not. That decision's up to them. But I'm praying for them, and I'm going to invite 3 different families. So they can come and get to know those people that are engaged in our front porch and begin to understand a little bit about who's part of our church and why. These are going to take place the weekend of September 22, 23, and 24. Now that's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to be inviting some people to consider being hosts. We're going to have about 8 of these around Northwest Indiana. So we're going to, when we get the host family set up, we'll let everybody know where they are. Hosts are likely going to invite one of you. Now, if one of the hosts says, you know, I'm hosting one of the front porches at my house and would love to have you come, feel free to accept that invitation. But if you also know of another one, maybe it's closer, maybe a good friend of yours or whatever, you can go to any one of the front porches you want, but we really do want to encourage you to go. All right? So put those dates on your calendar. The front porch may vary from whichever one they can schedule at any time that weekend. We want to have them all on the same weekend, but they may not all take place at the same time. So maybe go to more than one if you really want to. But put those dates aside. Somebody will, Lord willing, be in touch with you to invite you. If you don't hear from somebody, we'll have a list of that information available here in the church so you can know where they are, when they are,